When I talk about my dream girl and why she's truly one in a million, the first thing people assume is that it's about how she looks. And sure, she's beautiful, but that's not what makes her extraordinary. Her uniqueness goes far beyond appearance. It's something deeper, something you feel the moment she walks into a room. It's the quiet confidence in her stride, the way she doesn't need to demand attention, yet somehow she always has it. She doesn't try to impress anyone, she just is. There's a natural gravity about her, an authenticity that's rare in a world full of filters, noise, and endless comparison. What draws me in isn't just her smile, though it can light up a space. It's what that smile represents. It's a reflection of who she is on the inside, curious, grounded, and genuinely alive. She's the kind of person who asks questions that make you think, who listens not because she's waiting for her turn to speak, but because she truly wants to understand. That level of presence, that ability to make another human feel seen, that's where her real beauty lies. We live in a time where people chase perfection, where individuality is often sacrificed for approval. But she's the opposite of that. She's unpolished in the most perfect way. She laughs loudly, sometimes offbeat, sometimes uncontrollably. She talks with her hands, gets lost in her ideas, and occasionally stumbles over her words when she's passionate about something. And all of that makes her even more remarkable, because she's real. There's no performance, no pretense, just her unfiltered and unapologetically herself. Her uniqueness isn't loud. It's not about standing out just to be noticed. It's quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation. She's the type who will spend an evening reading about something completely random, just because she's curious about how the world works. She'll challenge ideas, not out of ego, but out of a genuine desire to understand them better. And when you talk to her, you start to realize that her mind is just as captivating as her heart. What's fascinating is that she makes you want to be better, not because she tells you to, but because she is better in the ways that matter. Her energy shifts the space around her. She inspires through action, through small gestures, a word of encouragement, a thoughtful question, a look that says, "You've got this." That's the kind of influence that can't be manufactured. It's something rare, something you don't come across often. And maybe that's why I say she's one in a million, because she reminds me that real beauty, the kind that lasts, isn't found in the way someone looks. It's in their essence, their spirit, the way they move through the world with authenticity and purpose. She's living proof that being true to who you are will always be more magnetic than trying to be everyone else expects. In a world obsessed with appearances, she stands as a quiet revolution, a reminder that real power, real charm, and real love begin where the surface ends. What truly separates her from the rest, what makes her one in a million, is her heart. She has this incredible ability to care, not in the casual, polite way people sometimes do, but in a way that feels genuine, deep, and almost rare in today's world. You can tell a lot about someone by how they treat people who can't offer them anything in return, and she treats everyone with the same level of kindness, from a stranger on the street to someone she loves most. That's the kind of heart she has, one that doesn't calculate, one that doesn't pick and choose when to be kind. It's just who she is. She has this instinct to lift people up. When someone's struggling, she doesn't just say, "I'm here if you need anything." She shows up, she listens, she takes time, real time, to understand what they're going through. There's no judgment, no impatience, just this quiet compassion that makes people feel safe enough to be themselves. And in a world where so many feel unseen or unheard, that's an incredibly powerful gift. She makes people believe in the goodness of others again, just by being herself. It's not that her life has been perfect. Far from it. She's faced her share of challenges, disappointments, moments of doubt. But that's what makes her compassion even more extraordinary. Because she doesn't let her own struggles harden her. Instead, they've deepened her empathy. She knows what it's like to fall and to get back up again. That understanding makes her more patient, more forgiving, more human. She doesn't just care in theory, she cares through experience. And she doesn't need to announce it. She doesn't post about every act of kindness or wear her good deeds like a badge. She just does them. Quietly. Consistently. It might be something small, sending a message to check in, staying up late to help someone prepare for a big day, volunteering her time without ever expecting recognition. But the impact of those moments, it ripples outward. Because when you meet someone who genuinely cares, it makes you want to care more too. Her kindness creates momentum. There's also something incredibly grounding about her presence. She has this calm energy that can steady even the most restless mind. It's like no matter how chaotic the day gets, she somehow reminds you of what really matters. People, connection, love, purpose. She's not chasing fame or validation or noise. Her focus is simple, to make life a little better for the people around her. That simplicity, that clarity, it's beautiful. And the truth is, the world doesn't have enough people like that. People who give without keeping score, who love without hesitation, who show up when it's inconvenient. She reminds me that genuine care isn't about grand gestures, it's about consistency, about choosing empathy even when it's hard, about believing that kindness still has a place in the world. She's proof that one person's compassion can ripple far beyond what they'll ever see. That one heart, when it truly cares, can change the atmosphere of an entire room or even an entire life. And that's why she's 1 in a million. Because her heart doesn't just beat for herself, it beats for others. What truly amazes me about her is the way her mind works. It's not just intelligence. Plenty of people are smart. It's the way she thinks. The way she connects ideas, the way she questions everything, the way she sees the world not as it is, but as it could be. Talking to her feels like exploring a new universe every time. You could start with something simple, like why the sky changes color at sunset, and somehow end up deep in a conversation about human potential, creativity, and the meaning of time. She doesn't think in straight lines, she thinks in constellations. Every thought connects to another, forming patterns that most people would overlook. What makes her mind so captivating isn't just her knowledge, it's her curiosity. She has this endless hunger to understand, to learn, to grow. She'll read about things completely outside her comfort zone, philosophy one day, quantum physics the next, not because she has to, but because she wants to. That curiosity is contagious. It pulls you in. It makes you want to learn to ask better questions, to see the world through her lens. She reminds you that intelligence isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to keep asking the right questions. But what's even more inspiring is how she uses that mind. She doesn't see knowledge as a trophy, something to show off. She sees it as a tool to help people, to solve problems, to create something meaningful. She's not impressed by complexity for its own sake. She values clarity, truth, and impact. When she speaks, you listen. Not because she's trying to sound smart, but because her words carry weight. They come from a place of understanding, not ego. She also has this rare balance between logic and imagination. She can look at a problem rationally, break it down piece by piece, but she also dreams boldly enough to imagine what doesn't exist yet. That blend of intellect and creativity is powerful. It's what pushes the world forward. And every time I see the way her mind works, I'm reminded that the future belongs to those who dare to think differently. She doesn't just inspire me to be smarter, she inspires me to think bigger, to challenge my own limits, to see opportunities where others see obstacles. When I doubt myself, she'll look me in the eye and ask a simple question. But what if it works? And somehow that one sentence resets everything. That's the kind of influence her mind has. It doesn't just generate ideas, it generates belief. In a world where so many people follow the script, she writes her own. She's not afraid to be wrong, not afraid to learn, not afraid to rebuild her ideas when new truths emerge. That humility, that fearless curiosity, it's what makes her extraordinary. And maybe that's why her mind inspires me so deeply. Because it's not just intelligent, it's alive. It's always evolving, always reaching, always believing that there's a better way. And being around a mind like that doesn't just change how you think, it changes who you are. There are moments in life when even the most determined person feels uncertain. When the noise gets loud, the pressure builds, and the path forward seems foggy. I've had those moments, times when I questioned everything, when the weight of expectations felt heavier than progress itself. And in those moments, when my own belief faltered, she was there. Not to fix everything, but to remind me of who I am. She believes in me when I don't believe in myself. And that kind of faith changes everything. What's incredible about her belief is that it's never loud or dramatic. She doesn't give speeches or push with force. Instead, it's quiet, steady, and unwavering. It's in the small things. The way she listens when I'm lost in doubt. The way she challenges my excuses without judgment. The way she somehow sees potential where I only see failure. Her confidence in me isn't based on results. It's based on understanding. She knows my flaws, my fears, the parts of me I'd rather keep hidden. And she still believes. That kind of belief isn't naive. It's powerful. It's the kind that fuels resilience. There have been times when I've walked away from an idea, convinced it wouldn't work, and she'd just look at me and say, "You've done harder things before." Simple words, but they land with weight. Because she's not trying to motivate me. She's reminding me of my own history, my own strength. She doesn't build me up with flattery. She builds me up with truth. And that truth has a way of grounding me, of resetting my perspective when it starts to spiral. Her belief creates space for me to fail without feeling like a failure. She understands that growth isn't linear, that success isn't born from certainty but from persistence. When I lose sight of the bigger picture, she helps me find it again. Not by handing me answers, but by asking the right questions. Questions that force me to look deeper, to reconnect with why I started in the first place. She's not just supportive. She's a mirror that reflects back the version of myself I forget exists. It's easy to believe in yourself when things are going well. But when things fall apart, that's when real belief matters, and hers never wavers. Even in the hardest moments, she sees something in me that I can't. And it's that trust, that quiet certainty, that becomes the spark that reignites my own drive. Because when someone truly believes in you, it's almost impossible to stay small. Her faith in me isn't just emotional, it's transformative. It teaches me what leadership, partnership, and love really mean. It's not about rescuing someone, it's about standing beside them, holding their vision when their hands are too tired to carry it. That kind of belief is rare, it's unconditional, it's grounded, and it's real. She doesn't just help me find my way, she reminds me that I already know it. And in those moments when I can't see the light, she becomes it. What I admire most about her is how she brings balance to my world. My life moves fast, ideas, projects, constant motion. It's exciting, but it's also chaotic. There are days when my thoughts race faster than I can organize them, when the noise of ambition drowns out everything else. And then there's her, calm, steady, unshaken. She doesn't slow me down, she centers me. Somehow she knows how to quiet the storm without dimming the energy that drives it. That's a rare kind of balance. The ability to steady someone without changing who they are. She understands that balance isn't about symmetry, it's about harmony. She doesn't try to match my intensity, she complements it. When I get lost in ideas, she grounds me in the present. When I become too focused on the future, she reminds me to look around and actually live the moment I'm in. It's not about opposing forces. It's about alignment. We're different in the ways that matter most, but those differences fit together perfectly. Where I see complexity, she finds simplicity. Where I push forward, she pauses and asks, why? And in that question, there's clarity. What's remarkable is that she never tries to compete with my drive. She respects it, even when she doesn't fully understand it. But she also makes sure I don't get consumed by it. She'll pull me away from my work and say, "You need to breathe." And she's right. She has this instinctive understanding of rhythm. When to step in, when to step back, when to just sit in silence and let things unfold. It's not control, it's intuition. It's knowing that balance doesn't mean having everything equal. It means knowing what to give, when to give it, and how much. Her energy shifts the atmosphere. When I'm restless, she brings calm. When I'm drained, she brings laughter. She has this ability to change the tone of a room just by being in it. And it's not that she tries to fix things. She simply creates space for them to find their natural order again. I've realized that balance isn't something you achieve, it's something you nurture. And she does that effortlessly. She also understands balance on a deeper level, between strength and softness, logic and emotion, ambition and peace. She can be decisive and gentle in the same breath. She's not afraid to challenge me when I'm wrong, but she does it with grace. And somehow, even in disagreement, she manages to make the connection stronger. That's a rare kind of emotional intelligence, one that brings stability without ever dulling the spark. She reminds me that balance isn't about standing still, it's about movement. Controlled, graceful movement. It's the art of adjusting, adapting, and staying grounded no matter how fast the world spins. And every time I start to lose my footing, she's there. Not to hold me back, but to steady me long enough to find my rhythm again. In a life filled with constant acceleration, she's the gravity that keeps everything from flying apart. What makes her truly one in a million isn't perfection, it's the fact that she's real. In a world obsessed with image, where people try to filter out their flaws and present only the highlight reel, she stands out because she doesn't pretend to be something she's not. She's honest about who she is, her strengths, her struggles, her dreams, her insecurities. And that honesty is what makes her magnetic. There's no mask, no performance. What you see is exactly what you get. And somehow that raw authenticity feels revolutionary. She's not flawless, and she doesn't try to be. She'll admit when she's wrong. She'll laugh at herself when she stumbles. And she's not afraid to show vulnerability. There's something powerful about that, because real connection isn't built on perfection. It's built on truth. She's the kind of person who owns her imperfections instead of hiding them. She knows that the cracks in her armor aren't weaknesses. They're proof that she's lived, that she's learned, that she's still growing. And when you're around someone like that, you start to realize that being real is far more beautiful than being ideal. What's even more inspiring is how she dreams. Her dreams aren't built on fame or validation. They're built on purpose. She has vision, not the kind that's loud and flashy, but the kind that's steady and enduring. She wants to create, to give, to build something meaningful. She's not afraid to start small, to fail, to try again. And she doesn't just talk about her dreams. She works for them, quietly and consistently. Watching her chase her goals reminds me that ambition doesn't have to shout to be powerful. Sometimes, the strongest drive comes from the calmest heart. But what truly stands out is how she balances those dreams with her humanity. She's not all ambition or all emotion. She's both. She knows when to push forward and when to slow down. She knows that success means nothing if it costs your soul. And that's what makes her rare. She lies with intention. Every decision she makes, every word she speaks, carries that same honesty and awareness. She's not perfect, but she's genuine, and that's far more lasting. Her authenticity brings out something honest in everyone she meets. People open up around her because they sense there's no judgment, no agenda, just presence. She has this quiet ability to make people feel safe just by being real herself. And in a world that often rewards appearance over substance, that kind of realness is an act of courage. I've learned more from her imperfection than I ever could from someone pretending to have it all figured out. She's shown me that strength isn't about never breaking. It's about being brave enough to rebuild. She's proof that the most extraordinary people are the ones who live fully, love deeply, and dare to be unapologetically themselves. She doesn't shine because she's perfect. She shines because she's real. And that, more than anything else, is what makes her one in a million.